Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Iowa Speedway. This is round number 12 of the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. 100 laps coming at you from the Iowa Speedway. We're going to do some short track racing under the lights this evening. Tim Terry, Dakota Ehrman, Evan Pasoko down on pit road. JD and Laura pushing all the buttons for us to get on the air in the production hauler this evening. This is ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. And Dakota, it was an exciting race last week. This is a long season. You wouldn't think that tempers would boil over at the Lady in Black, but they did, and it looks like we have maybe one or two drivers not here this week. Exciting race, but we're getting ready to see some tempers boil over here. We're going racing at Iowa.
Darlington. Really like a one-groove racetrack where you saw guys had to really hit their marks. It had to be in the right place at the right time and make sure they didn't really run over anybody. It was really hard to pass. It's going to be a totally different racetrack. We've seen the high groove, we've seen the low groove, we've seen up next to the wall in turns 3 and 4 at a place like Iowa Speedway. It really is an interesting racetrack. It's going to be totally different racing, but tempers could really flare a lot more than what you generally see at a place like Darlington.
Evan Pasoko down on pit road. I'm sure with a short track, we're going to be coming to you a lot here this evening. What are these teams saying about this race car as they are in the qualifying session right now?
Well, one thing to note at this Iowa Speedway is very minimal, very minimal banking. When you say 14 degrees in the corners, it doesn't sound minimal, but it's very flat compared to other tracks that we go to. So the cars are going to be sliding up on the exit of the corners. So not overusing your tires is very key. Also, you're going to enter pit road off 4, but you exit it going into turn number 2. So we'll definitely see some interesting pit stops tonight.
And when we look at last week's results, we went to Darlington last week for round number 11, and it was Matt Lacrosse pulling out the victory, and he had to come to the front a little bit late in the race. We've seen a couple of drivers that were really strong in the race. One of them was Eric Brundys, who finished in position number 2, but Dakota, I'm sure we'll talk about this as well when we look at the point standings. There was a little bit of a issue there. There was a call made for black flag for a stop and go penalty early in the race that Eric Brundys didn't deserve. There was no reason why Brundys should have got that black flag. But the race administrators in this league does have sitting admins, gave that to him. He came down, served the black flag. He got a lucky dog on one of the next cautions, got back on the lead lap, ends up finishing in position number 2. But it's still trying to come through that and trying to survive that black flag, and really on the racetrack for a long while and you're not in the lead lap battling for a position, it kind of wears on you. Eric Brundys is not here this evening, and he's got about 4.5 minutes. They're in the driver's meeting right now, so Brundys is going to surrender the point lead this evening by the looks of it after his second place finish last week at Darlington. Stefan Marinek was 3rd, John Abbott 4th, Doug Roth in 5th, Fleming, McGuire, Harvey, Bowers, and Herring completed your top 10. And there was a couple of substitute drivers in there. Dakota, the 43, and I believe Stephen Herring's car was driven by Justin Wilson, right off the top of my head. So a couple of relief drivers coming in and really keeping their driver up there in the standings and up there in the points.
Say what we talk about, I was looking at the guy that finished in the I want to say 3rd position. I was looking at the guy that was subbing. That was Wilson. Wilson was driving the car for him, and I thought I saw that they had led some laps. Actually, they led a total of, I want to say, never mind. I was thinking that they led quite a few laps, but never mind. I was looking at that wrong. But yeah, anyway, going to the Eric Brundys thing, he was really, really upset after that race, and I know he was contemplating not coming back last week. I believe it was last week when we talked to him post-race, and obviously don't quite see him here this week. So that's definitely a story here. But as we do talk about the point standings, Eric Brundys currently has that 3-point lead over Stefan Marinek. But Marinek, with a solid finish without Brundys here, could easily secure himself in the lead by quite a bit. Matt Lacrosse back to 3rd, 40 out of the points lead. CJ Levere sitting 4th, 43 points out. Bobby Terrell, 53 points out, just 10 behind Levere and 13 behind Lacrosse. Wyatt Wolf Jr. sitting 6th, he's 58 out, with Jose Gonzalez sitting 7th, 68 out, 10 behind Wyatt Wolf Jr. Rhett McBride sitting 8th, 88 out, with Doug Roth sitting 9th, 102 out, and Clint Monahan 10th, 104 points out of the point lead.
And when you look at this Iowa Speedway, it's a beautiful racetrack, and we are getting ready to go to the national anthem. So we'll just mention that it's a 3/4 mile racetrack. Turns are banked 12 to 14 degrees. Front straightaway banked at 10. Back straightaway banked at 4. We're going to go trackside here now for the national. Oh, we're going to wait for a couple of seconds here. Dakota, Calamity Corners. It's always a fun time when we go to a racetrack. Very tempting to drive into the corners too hot, and of course you're trying to get everything off these corners. So it's going to be exciting to see here. This Iowa racetrack has 2 grooves. We'll see if those drivers decide to use those 2 grooves this evening.
Yeah, definitely. When we talk about turn 2, any cars have complained that there's a slight bump on the track here. It's slightly noticeable in a heavy car. So at the end of a fuel run, you'll see cars sliding around, drivers taking advantage of others' mistakes. Turn 3, depending on the setup and driving style, look to see drivers enter the corners differently. The common line is half a groove off the bottom. Drivers can't get aggressive here, forcing the bottom in the late laps. So you got to really watch out for the apron. You get that apron, it's going to turn your car around generally.
And keep in mind, Bobby Terrell is one of the drivers that is really good at these short tracks, won 2 short track races already this season, and was hot coming into Darlington, won Richmond earlier in the year. Watch for Terrell to be good here this evening. Matt Lacrosse, last week's winner as well, finished 3rd at Richmond. He's going to be good. We're going to go down trackside for the playing of our national anthem, and the Cactus Cutie is going to lead us through it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
As the virtual Thunderbirds rumble over our announced position here, let's go down our starting grid for this evening's race. And on the front row, 2 drivers that really need to get going in the points picture. CJ Lavere, the 4 on the inside. Matt Lacrosse, 21 on the outside.
How about Nathan Little rolling off 3rd with the 24 machine of Stefan Marinak rolling out 4th? They make up row number 2.
Let's look at row number 3 here. It's Justin Boston in the Z-Loop number 38. On the outside, Bo McGuire in the 50. He had a great run last week.
John Abbott's going to roll off in the 7th position, making up row number 4, along with the 44 of Glenn Campbell.
Doug Roth starting in position number 9 in the 43. Scott Brotherton, 10th.
Nathan Bowers is going to roll off in the 11th position. His 85 machine, the 32 of Rich Jett, rolls off 12th, making up row number 6.
Brian Harvey rolls off 13th. 14th, 92, Terry Lane.
Clint Monahan is going to roll off in the 15th position in his 1 machine. The 26th of Jose Gonzalez rolls off 16th, making up row number 8.
Keith Brooks Jr. will start the 71 from position 17. Jimmy North rolls 84 from 18th.
47, Eric Arnold will roll off 19th. The 81 of Stephen Almendo, 20th. They make up row number 10.
Your next row, season number 09 to John Ellers in 21st. 22nd is Rhett McBride in the 15.
Row 12 will see the 27 of J-Ren, the Watkins, and the 69 of Augusto Gabaldoni.
Field begins to roll. It's Bobby Terrell rolling from 25th. That's a surprise there. And on the outside, scheduled to start there, is Steve Ritter, but I don't see him lining up there.
White Wolf Jr. is supposed to roll off 27th in his 63 machine. 65 of Josh Cheney rolls off in 28th.
Guy that had a great run going last week, David Lanza, rolls off 29th and completing your top 30. It's the 12 of Douglas Wyatt.
31st will be the 20 car of Ed Williams Jr. and 32nd will be the 40 car of Joey Hilton.
Wyatt Wolf 56, John Wilco 62, your next row.
And Frank Coons and Stephen Herring will round out the rest of the field here, making up the final row. I do believe this is row, I do want to say 18.
So there's a couple of surprises in that lineup as we saw, and the one thing that really jumps out at me is Bobby Terrell starting in position number 25. And we talked about Richmond, Iowa being essentially the same racetrack. That number 7, he won at Richmond. He wasn't that hot in practice. He was a 10th off the fast time. Is that something to worry about? Is it a cause of concern right now, Dakota, for that 17?
Well, honestly, I think we've got to keep our eye on him, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I don't know that we can judge him off of practice. Practice is something you do want to look at, but it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. We've seen guys that have run well, but generally weren't the fastest when it came to hot laps or even in practice. Just kind of came out of nowhere later on in the race. It can be about long run, and I think that's what we'll see maybe coming later here as we get set for the green flag. Pace car's off, and green flag is out. The 4 of CJ LeVere is away.
What a start for the 4 of CJ LeVere. He's out by 3 lengths going into corner number 1. Is the 21 of Matt Lacrosse running in position number 2. Third place belongs to Nathan Little. Great qualifying run for the 97. 24 of Marinek in 4th. And the Zaloop number 38 this week at Justin Boston running in position number 5. As the battle for second heats up, it's the 21 and 97 going at it for the spot as CJ LeVere backs up to the second place position. Could we have a change for the lead here? Lacrosse going to the outside.
Yeah, last week's winner to the outside. How about that? And behind them, the 50 car, Bo McGuire to the outside. Underneath him, challenging for the position is going to be the 10 of John Abbott. Abbott was scored 7th last time by. He's going to slide it right in front of the 50 and be 6th. Somebody's around. I believe that was LeVere.
That was your leader coming around in corner number 4. He gets it going again, but the Budweiser number 4, I don't know what happened there. The caution does fly. He went around all by himself, Dakota, but he fell back. He got a great start, and then he falls back to the Matt Lacrosse machine and everybody else that's there. I'm not sure what's wrong with that number 4 car, whether he had something go wrong or something was changed there, maybe a steering setting or something on his wheel. It might be a hardware problem. It's easy to speculate up here, but CJ LeVere had some sort of issue right off the start as soon as they went green.
I feel like at turn 4, the lap before the 21 got him or just before the 21 got him, the 4 got loose, and he lost a lot of time. Then he was tagged by the 97, got down, got the apron. Apron might have helped him get around there, but kept it down. Didn't really make any contact with any of the cars. 4 car looks okay, and should be able to get around, get tires, and be all right. Just have to go back to the field just a little bit here.
Yeah, he was tagged by the 97 going into the corner, and it looks like he was trying to get on that apron, maybe, Dakota, to try to save that race car, try to get something going there, but it nothing doing there for the numbers 4, CJ LeVere. We'll see what the race officials do decide, if the 97 will be receiving any penalty for that one or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Nevertheless, it's Matt Lacrosse and Nathan Little, your top 2. Justin Boston 3rd, John Abbott 4th, and Bo McGuire in 5th. And we mentioned the 50 car when we went through the starting grid. Bo McGuire had a great run last week. He didn't leave the top 5 for a majority of that race, Dakota. But when it all came down to it, as the 97 appears to be coming down pit road, it might be a penalty coming up for that caution flag. But when it all came down to it at the end of the race, Bo McGuire finished a couple of positions outside that top 5 in 7th. I'm sure he'll be looking for another run here in the top 5 right now, currently in 4th.
I'd say what we didn't get to talk about a little bit earlier was actually the comers, the goers, and the professor's picks here. We got the ETV Iowa pre-race briefing. George Wood Bobby Terrell has 2 straight wins before Darlington, but Iowa is at Richmond and Cologne where he actually won. Remember, he did win at Richmond. Malik Cross is back to his top 5 ways from the start of the season. Remember, he did actually win last week, and he's currently your race leader. Stephen Herring has 2 straight top 10s, and I do believe he had a substitute driver last week, but don't let that stop him. We'll give credit to him. But Goer's here, Tim Terry. You got him?
Yeah, Jimmy North hasn't finished in the top 25 in nearly a month, and Rick McBride and Jose Gonzalez have only one top 15 between them, both in the last 2 weeks. So they'll be looking to rebound. And as you mentioned, that Iowa clone, or Richmond clone, is Iowa. Bobby Terrell was up front in the Richmond race. We mentioned that off the top of the show. Eric Brundy's not here. Matt Lacrosse finished in third. He came off the win last week. Watch for him to put something together here. Rhett McBride and Josh Cheney, your top 5. And that front row that we had there, CJ Lavere and Matt Lacrosse, as looks like we're getting ready to go racing here momentarily. Light's still on atop the pace car, though, so we'll be another lap before we do see those turn off. They sit 40 and 43 points behind the leader, Matt Lacrosse, who currently leads this race, and CJ Lavere, who currently now runs in 28th place after that slide. They really need to get going. There's no chase here this 36 race season. You cannot afford to really have a huge bobble in this season. So if you're one of those 2 drivers, you really can't afford, let's say, a 28th place finish right now where CJ is running. Of course, he showed that he has a better car than that. We'll have to see what he can do from that 28th place position. But Matt Lacrosse currently leading, and that's the exact way to claw your way back into the points picture, is to be running up there, because after this evening, he looks to be second in points, but he's got to get up there and make enough points so he can pass the Eric Brundy's car for position number 2 in the standings, with Brundy's not here.
And here's another thing you got to look at. Look who's running 33rd. And that's the guy that's got to be running stat every week. I think even just top 10 runs for him right now, and he's in a pretty good position. It's going to be hard for anyone to really catch him. And that's Stefan Marinak, 24 machine, running 33rd currently after starting up, and I do believe the top 5. He has fallen back quite a bit here. I mean, really a big comeback. I mean, he was 4th when he crossed the start-finish line the first time after qualifying. Going to be scored 33rd right now. Just not something you want to see from a guy like Marinak. He's really can't have a bad day. He's got to keep having the good days. Top 10s, top 15s. That's the only way he's going to be able to maintain this point lead that he has.
And he did come down pit road on that first caution flag, as did the 97, because of the caution credit, the caution penalty, and of course CJ Lavere. So we have a different looking top 5 here than we did when we started the race. Pace car going to head to pit road right here, and Matt Lacrosse going to be in control of the field. Justin Boston to the outside. Boston waiting. 21 goes. Green flag flies. 38 going to be on the outside line. Can he get down? Can't change that lane prior to the start-finish line, so he stays to the outside there. Looks good from this vantage point. John Abbott in 3rd, Beau McGuire 4th, and Glenn Campbell has found his way to position number 5.
Here comes Doug Roth right behind him. The 44 was sitting in the 5th position, I do believe. Doug Roth sitting in 6th, actually was coming to the bumper of the 44 in a hurry. 44 all of a sudden just shot out of a cannon. Now going to come to the inside of the 50 car. Beau McGuire going to be side by side heading into turn number 1, door to door. Looks like the 44 car has a preferred lane to the corner, able to really turn the car. It's, the 43 gets a little sideways, but he's not going to be in the inside of the 50 cars. The 44 has cleared the 50. That is the 44 again of Glenn Campbell, 50 of Beau McGuire, 43 Doug Roth, and here comes the 32 car.
Rich Jett looking to pick up a spot here as well, right tucked up on the bumper, the 43 of Doug Roth, as they look to pass Beau McGuire and dispatch him a couple of positions behind, and just behind them the 85 and the 2 nearly make a little bit of contact. Scared me. It looks like we're slowing down in the back straightaway. Dakota caution flies.
That we are. It looks like 48 car, Frank Coons, 34th position. Coming off of turn number 4, lap 9. Just gets a lot of sideways, comes down. A little bit of help from the 97. 97 had nowhere to go. 48 car in trouble. They're going to be able to stop on the inside, but might have had a little bit of contact from the wall in the car. Looks like he should be all right. Maybe toe might be knocked out just a little bit. Not much, though, as he drives away.
And we see a lot of this intense racing off these restarts, and Dakota cautions breed cautions. We're at a short track. There tends to be a lot of them here. The best way to pick up positions is on these restarts where everybody's tightly close together. So that's why we saw that battle from 5th, 6th, 7th on back. You saw Beau McGuire restarted in 4th. He's back to 6th, and more than likely, the way they were racing, he was going back a couple more positions if that caution flag did not fly. Looks like your top 8 are staying out on the racetrack. It will put Clint Monahan. Nope, he comes back out on the racetrack, so a fake pit there. So we're going to go back to about 14th place, let's say. Keith Brooks is going to come onto pit road in the 71 car, and he's going to be followed by the 47 of Eric Arnold, and a couple of others down there as well. I'm going to pitch it down to Evan with these pit stops as well in the 24. What's the 24 team saying down there with Marinek coming down on the first caution?
Well, the 24 had to come down. They didn't get many laps under, and they just wanted to come make a slight adjustment, try to get away from where all the crazy action is going. However, that last wreck that we had was at the back of the field, so the other cars are coming down. They're making their adjustments, such as Keith Brooks, Eric Arnold. They're coming down, making slight adjustments to their car, putting right sides only on their cars. Get out, make a slight adjustment, see it, feel it out, and get going in this race. As we're 12 laps in. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's 12%.
And Marinek is back down on pit road once again, so maybe he's hoping for something big to happen in front of him, Dakota, and not him being involved in the incident. He's running right now, or last time by, scored in position 33 of 35. Ed Williams Jr. should receive the free pass this time. He's on the outside coming around the pace car, so he will be back on the lead lap, which will put all 35 starters on the lead lap when we go back to green. And Evan hit the nail on the head. This isn't really a long race, 100 laps here. Usually we see a little bit longer race. We're already a 10th through this race. So these guys, we talked about those restarts, the sense of urgency to pick up those spots. With 100 laps, only 100 laps, that sense of urgency is magnified because you got to pick up every position that you can. If you're Stefan Marinek back in position 32, you've got a lot of work to do and a very short time to get there if we don't have a whole lot of green flag racing.
You're telling me, I mean, if you look at this right now, we have a 100-lap race. We're 13 laps in this. We might not be green till about lap 15. That just cut out 15 laps of time that you had to go to the front. So, I mean, we're looking at maybe 85 laps left of racing. And that closes quickly. I mean, if you look at it, we had 2 cautions, within the first, 15 laps so far. If we keep going that way, we might see a lot of cautions and could end up with, cars that are in the back being stuck in the back because they don't have time to get to the front. So, things really got to play out here differently. Cars have got to go. They can't hang out in the back. And I don't think that Marinek's hoping for a wreck. I think he's expecting one up there.
And the 7 car of Bobby Terrell, we mentioned him off the top of the show. He's back in 19th place. He started in 25th, so that's a net gain of 6 positions in the first 14 laps. Obviously, competition's going to get tougher. We might see a pit stop here. I'm pretty sure these guys need 1 pit stop for 100 laps. I could be wrong, though, with a 22-gallon tank. But nevertheless, it's Bobby Terrell. There's more behind it than just picking up positions. You have a strong race car. You've seen it in practice. Top 10 driver in the practice session. And one of those drivers that's picked up 3 wins this season, 53 points behind the point leader. And with Marinek having some tough luck, this could be a great night to capitalize if you're the 7 car. But you're running mid-pack right now.
Tim, I think these guys are wishing they had a 22-gallon fuel tank. It's actually 18.7, I do believe. Yeah, they will have to make at least 1 stop. I think the max you can see guys go is generally 60 to 70 laps. Even at a place like this, I think it might even go as far as 80 laps. Can't tell you that for sure, but I do want to say it's in that range, 60 to 80. We'll go with that. Sounds about right for a place like this, but I think we'll see at least 1 pit stop. 100 laps, I don't think it's really possible, even with a lot of cautions. I know Evan Soko's on pit road. He'll be able to maybe clarify on that. We'll have him look into that with some of the crew chiefs as we get set for the green flag. Pace car working through 3 and 4, and it's about to dive.
Getting ready to see the pace car head to pit road. Matt Lacrosse once again in control. We'll see what he can do here on this restart with Justin Boston once again on the outside. Pace car in. Matt Lacrosse waiting to go. Still waiting. Here he goes. Green flag flies. Boston going to try to get into the inside, but John Abbott in the 10 car there, and we mentioned it before. We seen it last week. That's where Brundy's got his penalty. Watch the lane changes here on these restarts. It's going to be key trying to protect your position. And Justin Boston out there, it's tempting when you're second to try to hop in and protect that inside line as soon as that leader goes.
That it is, and I don't know that I don't honestly know what the rule is. I mean, it kind of jumped around a little bit. You know, they did black flag him, but they gave him the lap back, actually. They waved him around along with the lucky dog last week. So, you know, I don't honestly know, you know, what exactly the rule states, whether it's, you know, before the green flag, before the start-finish line. It could be either, but honestly, it could make a big difference that way.
85 of Bauer is going to pick up a spot back there. Now Clint Monahan in the 1 is moving underneath the 50 at Beau McGuire. McGuire falling like a stone in a pond as he falls to position number 10. And Brian Harvey will look for one more. We got a car around, I believe, in the back of the field. We're slowing down, and that should bring out the caution.
Yeah, 84 off of turn number 2, position 21, lap 18. Caution does fly. So I don't even think we made it. You know, less than 5 laps that time before the caution came out. I'm hearing the 47 was involved, or the 27, I do believe actually, as it was the 27 of J. Ronald Watkins diving into the corner and just kind of gets into the 84, puts the 84 around and into the outside wall. Hard contact with the 84. 47 had nowhere to go during the incident. And actually ended up getting turned around and collecting quite a bit of damage there on his 47 machine.
Looks like there's at least 2 corners damaged on the 84 car, and he was one of the goers that we talked about in the first caution flag of the evening. Has not received a top 5 finish or gained a top 5 finish in the last month or so, and it looks like that might continue here. Pit stops happening for, 1, 2 fakes coming out there. Looks like John Abbott will inherit the lead. Some of these guys are good. Half the field in the back is staying out as well. Matt Lacrosse going to lead the field down onto pit road. Some differing strategies here, Evan.
And like you guys mentioned, Dakota mentioned it earlier, 80 laps possibly on fuel, but this race is doing a lot of caution. So these drivers are coming down now. They're going to fill them up and hope that this may be their only pit stop, because if we continue under caution, obviously the cars can save fuel and they will be able to make it that 80 laps. So the cars are going to come down 4 right side, or 4 tires in general for the number 21 machine of Matt Lacrosse. And he is going to be beat off pit road by the number 38.
44 car, check that at Glenn Campbell. 2 right side tires. The 44 will win the race off pit road. And then, as we mentioned behind there, Matt Lacrosse going to lose 1 more to the 38 at Justin Boston. Lacrosse comes off 3rd. And it looks like position 4 is Rich Jett, and Scott Brotherton will come off in 5th. But we did have some drivers stay out in the racetrack. John Abbott will lead our field to green. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll be back for the restart here at Iowa. You are watching the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Design.
Back to it, right?
plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Welcome back to the Iowa Speedway and the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing. And it's your yellow pages for all the racing on the web sponsoring the Thursday night series. Your first and best choice for all news, reviews, and online motorsports. Join Darren and Sean for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. and a great package that they put together over there, Dakota. You sit back and relax and enjoy some great sim racing news, product reviews, all that fun stuff, and the latest on big races going on. Anything that you'd ever want for the sim racing world, Darren and Sean have you covered over there. Lights atop the first racing Ford Mustang pace car are out next time by We're Going Racing.
That they do. Again, isrtv.com. Check them out. But again, like you said, pace lights are out on the pace car. John Abbott going to lease at the green flag. This will be interesting. Some cars on old tires, some cars on fresh tires. Big differences. People jumping around field-wise. Stephen Marinac was talking about running back in the rear of the field up to the 11th position because of staying out, I do believe. Jose Gonzalez 4th, Brian Harvey, Doug Ross. Again, Abbott leading. So here we go. Going to get set for the green flag, and we'll see what happens.
So some tires strategies being played out here, fuel strategy being played out here. The first driver that came down pit road, Glenn Campbell's in 16th place. So we have the top 15 that stayed out on the racetrack. Pace car in, Abbott gone. Green flag flies. 43 of Doug Roth on the outside trying to take second place. Away from Brian Harvey. Harvey had that preferred group on the inside line, but the 43 is going to beat him across the stripe and beat him to the inside line. Roth now in a second. Third is the 67, side by side for fourth. Terry Lane trying to do something in the 92. He's looking at the 26. It's the 12 of Douglas Wyatt. Looks at him. Fantastic battle for fourth.
Abbott took off from the field. He's away. And I'm watching Jose Gonzalez up to fourth. We did mention he's with the goers here tonight. Hasn't had a top 15 in a long time, it seems like, as he's currently running in the fourth position. Right behind him, again, you do have the 92 of Terry Lane. Also, John Ellers and the 09 coming in underneath the 12 of Douglas Wyatt. Here comes Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell also generally a guy that you see come towards the end of the race, maybe in the middle of the race, and it's about his time. Getting a little bit closer, a little bit further into the race, and he's getting a little bit further towards the front. There's a 24, peeks to the inside. Meridak almost makes contact with Terrell.
We are a quarter distance through this race already as the 24 makes that pass on the 7, but as you mentioned, close quarters between those two drivers and two of the favorites heading in to this evening's race. They run in positions 8 and 9 respectively. They stayed out on the last caution, and it looks like the only driver to really make any inroads back there is it looks like the caution does fly. Justin Boston was the first driver to come down pit road, Dakota. He's now running in position number 13 in the 38 car.
Yep, caution comes out for the 44 car. Glenn Campbell looking at lap 26, coming off of not quite off turn 2. It's actually looking at off turn number 4, I wanted to say. We're walking through 3 and 4. He has to check up for the 21. Gets a little loose. Big stack up in front of him. There was a lot of contact, a lot of cars going around. He ends up getting collected with one or two other cars. Ends up flipping. Just seems like he was one of the last cars we saw ended up stopped on the racetrack.
I mentioned Justin Boston in the 38 car. He gets involved in this. It starts up with the 69. I believe that might be Gambaldoni in the 69 and the 38 of Boston. They have a coming together off of corner number 4, and it looks like a little bit of prediction code there. It looks like about 5 feet in between those two cars as they came off of corner number 4 there. Nevertheless, they make contact. 69 goes around, 38 goes spinning through the infield, through the Legends Oval. And look at the drivers involved in this. Matt Lacrosse involved. The 20 or 62 checked that. John Wilco goes for a ride. But look at Matt Lacrosse. He was the driver that started up front a little bit earlier. And now he is going to have to deal with some damage here in this incident. Couple of drivers that we mentioned the pit strategies earlier. If you stay out on the racetrack and you gain that track position, you're away from that hornet's nest. But if you do end up coming down pit road, you're possibly in that hornet's nest around everybody that's trying to gain positions. Matt Lacrosse, Justin Boston, they just found that out the hard way. Glenn Campbell, of course, going through the air and flipping wildly there. The 21's down on pit road. Evan, what are you seeing down there for damage on the All-Star Performance number 21?
And not just that car, but a whole bunch of cars got pretty significant damage in that incident. The number 44 car, Glenn Campbell, he is done. They blew the engine on that wreck, and lots of other cars. The damage is going from a little bit of a scratch to cars with bent up sheet metal everywhere. So lots of damage control going down on pit road right now.
And there's a lot of bent up pride, I'm sure, down there as well, Dakota. as those drivers were running up front a little bit earlier on. With this shortened race here, or the length that we have here, we're going to be at least 3/10 of the way through this race when we go back to green flag racing as we work lap number 30 right now. It really opens the door for those guys that stayed out on the racetrack to possibly have a top 10 run, top 5 run. That percentage gets greater here.
I'll tell you what's interesting is, the things have shaken up, and I know we were talking earlier that, people were talking about I know it was, Evan was talking about people maybe not having to come down the rest of the race or something. These guys will come back down. These guys still have to pit. You'll even see some of these guys that have pitted, that have said they don't have to pit again. They'll be back down on pit road. Tires are everything, at a place like this, anywhere you go, especially with this car. The tires really get eaten up, and that's what we'll have to watch out for is tires. Who's got the tires and where they're at. Now you see Matt Lacrosse kind of not the beneficiary of tires that time, as he just didn't have the track position. So track position and tires, if you're sitting in the top 10 and you've got tires and nobody in front of you does, you're going to have a pretty good run compared to a lot of those guys. But you can't be sitting back, about 15, so you really have to position yourself.
And while we have the opportunity, we're going to thank another one of our great partners here, including Gary Mercer Trucking. Dude, if your pickup truck is too small for the load, get a real truck to haul it. Sponsoring drivers in several iRacing official series, Gary Mercer Trucking provides long and short haul options for hauling furniture, perishables, even refrigerated products, and a whole lot more. With storage facilities in the USA and Canada, the CT pad approved and fast express drivers, Gary Mercer Trucking is the best choice to haul your load. Give the old pickup a rest and call Gary Mercer Trucking at 800-668-2980 or check them out at gmercer.com. And that's, of course, Gary Mercer Trucking, fine company over there with Brendan Mercer and the folks over there. Pace car lights are off. We're going green next time by. We'll see if John Abbott can continue with the lead. Doug Roth in second. And we talked about the pinch hitter last week, Dakota. It was, I believe, Justin Wilson in that race car, Doug Roth back at the seat. And now he is looking to take his 43 car back to another top 5 finish, with that 43 car being credited with 5th last week.
Well, he's definitely in the position right now, but again, remember, he's one of the guys that have not pitted yet this race. So really have to keep our eye on him and what he does pit stop-wise. But a lot of the competition really being eliminated, it appears, that have pitted, so we might want to stay out the rest of the race. But here we go, pace car is about to dive.
The first racing Ford Mustang pace car in. Quicker start there for John Abbott. Green flag flies. Doug Roth going to look for the inside after the start-finish line. He was keeping up with him. Looks like one driver back there, Douglas Wyatt in 12, went to the outside line immediately, and with good reason. Here's Stefan Marinek in the 24. He picks up 2 spots, and now he's looking at the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Report the 24 is on a mission.
Indeed he is. Oh, one in the wall.
09 car John Ellers through the infield. Justin Boston's involved in this one. 56 of Wyatt Wolf is also in this one. Caution flag will fly, and there's some drivers that were involved in this one that were involved in the last one as well.
Wow, that turn of events there. I was sitting there talking about tires, track position. John Ellers had a lot of track position, sitting in 7th, running the outside of 12 kind of drifted up, but and put him in the wall. That made a lot of cars were collected. 97. This will be the third. I want to say this will be the third caution he was involved with. Unfortunately, I do believe, but it is lap 33. I would say turns 3 and 4. 12 car comes up the track. That's Douglas Wyatt. Wyatt's actually going to escape with really no damage at all.
And the one thing we saw on that restart was the 12 car caught it out of the corner of my eye. Usually at a racetrack like this, you want to go to the inside and try to get those positions. He saw Marinek coming behind him. The 12 car goes to the outside in corner number 1 to let the 24 car by. Check that. And he was trying to gain those positions and got in a little bit hard there as well. So the caution flag flies once again, and these guys that are worrying about tires up here, I don't think they really have to worry a whole lot about it.
I think by the time that tires are relevant, I think everybody will have been through pit road, and these guys right now, the way they're running, it really could be irrelevant. I think, honestly, we're not getting a long enough run that we could even burn a whole lot of fuel here. I think, honestly, these guys could out make it the rest of the way. They could make it on these tires, and they could be competitive. Marinac, though, has a little bit fresher tires, not much, but a little bit. Keep your eye on the 24 cars. He's actually come to the field a little bit. Very fast car there, and I want to say he was actually running really, really well in practice. If I look for the 24 car, was actually fourth. Qualified fourth, currently sitting in that fifth position, but I think he's faster, or was faster than most of the guys in front of him currently, so really got to keep your eye on the 24 car.
Let's step away for just a few moments' time. We'll take a pit stop. John Abbott hasn't done that so far this evening, so we'll see what he can do in the second half of this race. 36 gone. Don't go away.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
Welcome back to Iowa on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Design. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car getting ready to head to the infield. John Abbott and Doug Roth, your front row, Brian Harvey, Jose Gonzalez, and your point leader, Marinac in fifth. Green flag flies, John Abbott's gone. Side by side for position number 3, it's Brian Harvey and Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez on the outside, Harvey on the inside 24, looking to pick up a spot here, and he's got side by side in front of him. Where does the 24 go?
Well, a little into the wall, I have a feeling. It looked like he got the wall a little bit. He's now the outside 67, 67 followed back. He's going to clear the 67 of Brian Harvey and set his sights now on the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. A lot of momentum carried off of turn number 4 on that outside lane for the 24 machine as he now gets right up to the bumper of the 26 already. Kind of falling off of turn number 2, but he's going to make that up. It looks like he just exited the corner a little higher than the 26.
So he's coming to the front of the field is your point leader, Marinek. The 26 car on the outside, little bobble there for the amp number 26 of Gonzalez as the Marinek machine looks to the inside line. 26 looks to hold that momentum up on the outside line. Didn't give the 24 a whole lot of room there to operate as the battle behind them also shaping up as the 67 of Brian Harvey, the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr. Brooks looking for the spot in the 67.
For the battle for, I do believe, the 8th position. It's Bobby Terrell on the outside lane. The 38 of Justin Boston on the inside. Boston clears him, and here comes the crossover, maybe. Remember, Boston was involved in the caution just laps ago. Looks like his car might be all right. He's actually running top 10 right now, and behind them, you have the 92 car. I do believe it's the 92 of Terry Lane. You've got behind them even a battle side by side here. 4 car who started from the pole. Let's see Lair on the inside of White Wolf Jr.
And that 38 car's really had a rebound so far. Involved in 2 cautions, seen him try to avoid all the action in front of him, and now he's back up in the top 10. CJ Lavere in the 4 underneath the 63 car of Wolf to pick up a spot. Wolf falling back. The 32 of Rich Jett also going to pick up a position. Wyatt Wolf Jr. comes into this field 6th place in the point standings, looking to at least maintain that. Very tight around that 63 in the point standings, and very tight around them on the racetrack as well, as he's got 4 drivers in front of him looking to try to pull away. The 63 wants to pick those back up and get back in the top 10.
And now he's got somebody else on his bumper, the 2 of Scott Brotherton. As Brotherton gets loose, he's going to be all right. He's going to come back up the track. But in front of them, the 4 car, CJ Lavere, is battling for position. He's now shot to the inside of another machine. That is the 92 of Terry Lane. Here comes the 32 behind them. 32, Rich Jett working the inside of the monster car there on the outside lane. Bobby Terrell just in front of the 4 now, as the 4 is going to clear the 92. 92 slides up the racetrack. Bobbled or something. Now the 32 just slides up in front of him. And here comes the 92 back to the inside.
Nice crossover move for the 92. He nearly got up in the second groove and into the 32 car of Rich Jett. Jett on that outside line trying to maintain the spot. The 92 of Terry Lane is the one on the inside line. Up front, still status quo with John Abbott leading. The best battle on the racetrack appears to be this battle right here, just around the top 10, as CJ Lavere holds that 10th place position in the 4. He's going to look underneath the 7 of Bobby Terrell going into corner number 1. Nothing doing there. Terrell goes up the racetrack a little bit. The 4 car looks to have the better car right now of these 2 as they battle in 48.
And here he comes now to the inside. Not quite. 7's going to keep the spot. He's going to be able to, get his car down to the inside, cut off the 4 basically. And the 4 going to create a lot of momentum once again off the corner. He gets a huge run, shoots down low. This time he's going to be the inside. 7 car backs out early, gives up the spot. 4 car, CJ Lavere moves up another spot. Slow car on the outside wall. I do believe that is the 85 of Nathan Bowers, I want to say.
And that is Bowers going 2 laps down to your leader. So 32 of Rich Jett also coming up through the field. He almost got into Terrell as they were battling with the 4 car, but nevertheless he maintains that position back there in 11th place. It looks like Marinek back up front. Quick change for position number 3. He's moved up past Doug Roth as they battle single file right now, side by side though, between the 38 and the 71. That's Boston and Brooks, and Boston picks up the spot just in front of them. Doug Roth. Oh, what a move by Brian Harvey to the inside. 67 gonna pick up a spot. What a move on Doug Roth.
Yeah, and he pushed up the track. Doug Roth moving up like, don't hit me. Gives them plenty of room. The 67 takes the spot. Here comes the 38 of Justin Boston now to the inside of the 43 of Doug Roth. Roth's going to fall back another position as he's going to lose 2 in just 1 lap and maybe a third as he's got more company coming behind him.
Keith Brooks, I don't know what he was doing down there in that number 71, but it was pointed towards the wall for a moment there. 71 now up the racetrack on Doug Roth, and the 81 car of Almindo going to try to pick up 2 spots here. He's going to get the 43 and going to try to get the 71 as well. Little bobble from Brooks. Going to be the 81, at least 1 position. He goes up the racetrack now. He's going to lose the spot, and CJ Lavere going to try to pick it up. Oh, boy.
How about Lavere making a comeback? 81 is sliding all the way up the racetrack. He's going to go back another spot. He's going to lose the spot. He's just having some problems there in the 81 machine. It was the same way with the 71 a few times where he was sliding up the racetrack like he maybe overdrove or hit the lane wrong as with what we saw, but not quite the case anymore as it seems to be settled out now.
battle for the lead beginning to heat up. 10 and 26. Jose Gonzalez has closed the gap. It was 0.3 of a second. It's cut in half. It's now a car length and a half between your top two. Marinak has been unable to cut into the gap. It's 1 second back to the 24. Harvey and Boston complete your top five. But it looks like Jose Gonzalez might have a piece here. But as I say that, John Abbott a 10th quicker that last lap than the 26. So maybe it's about hitting the marks for Jose Gonzalez to try to regain this time that he lost.
And it could be John Abbott maybe missing alignment. If you think about it, from Jose Gonzalez's viewpoint, he has a car in front of him. He can see what the car in front of him is doing. He can he's got something to beat. He's got something to catch. John Abbott doesn't have that, so he can easily lose focus and lose time here, as I don't think he actually gained a whole lot of time right there.
It looks like Gonzalez may have lost a couple of hundredths that last lap to John Abbott. As you ride on board with Gonzalez, looking up at that number 10 of John Abbott, it's 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths, whatever the gap may be in between those two. Gonzalez fractionally quicker, 0.003 of a second that time by to John Abbott's time, and Marinak is keeping about the same pace as your leader. Abbott the last time by 23.78, 23.77 for Marinak that last time by in position number 3. So it's about status quo for your leaders, Dakota. They continue to trade fast laps. I think Gonzalez got him there by a little bit, though. Nearly a 10th that time. Gonzalez quicker than Abbott.
And meanwhile, LeVere just picks up another spot. He just went around the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr. So CJ LeVere, 4 car up to 6th position. Now sets its sights on Justin Boston. Boston, though, just a little over, or just around a second in front of him in the 38 machine. So he's got a ways to go in that 4 machine.
Your top two continue to go at it for the lead. 0.2 of a second between those top two drivers, Marinak, Harvey, and Boston. And that's the battle for 4th right now. Harvey and Boston, 67, 38, 38 looks to the inside, going down into corner number 3. 67 going to roll over and let him have it. And that will move Boston up to position number 4. The driver for Venturini Motorsports in the ARCA Series, presented by Menards, moves up to position at number 4 in the Zaloop Computer Electronic Recycling Center's number 38.
He's actually used a little bit of the outside lane there. Unique lane choice out of turns number 1 and 2, actually, which is something you generally don't see. You see him in 3 and 4 sticking up a lane. He's really trying to keep his momentum up there. He doesn't want to slow the car down as much, keep it on the bottom. Doesn't want to worry about hitting the apron. And he really wants to be able to power off the corner. And that's what he's doing. That's what he's enabling himself to do. Maybe even art the corner a little bit more, because now he has more room to turn. But you see him using the outside lane and making it work up there.
And just behind him, it looks like the 4 has caught the 67 for position number 5. It's CJ LeVere looking to pick up 1 spot on Brian Harvey in the 67. Here he goes to the inside of Harvey, catches him down the straightaway, goes into the corner, and the 67 takes that wide entry to let the 4 have the inside line. So Brian Harvey appears to be falling back here. 71 and 43 next up on the list for Harvey, but it's CJ LeVere moving in to the top 5 right now, and we'll see what he can do with a little bit of room to maneuver here. John Abbott has company. It's the rear bumper being completely full of Jose Gonzalez, and these guys have now pulled 3 more tenths on the 3rd place driver of Marinak.
And man, Jose Gonzalez picked up a lot that last time by. I do believe he ran a 23.8 compared to John Abbott's 23.9 as we come across our finish line. 9 to an 8, so it looks like Abbott just a little bit faster there. But Jose Gonzalez has, as I see smoke. Somebody's around. Somebody's on the inside wall. 27. J. Randall Watkins, 23rd position, lap 63 for him off of turn number 2. Was slow on the inside. It looks like he might have got the wall. He's back rejoining the track surface. No caution. Slow on the inside, but he is away, and it looks like everything might be all right here. He may have to come down pit road as the 2 on his outside gets a little sideways.
And that's Scott Brotherton up front. They just lapped Nathan Bowers in the 85. The 10 car caught him really at a wrong time, Dakota. Caught him coming out of the corner, and he wanted to go up and finish off that corner, get that great run out of the corner, have that outside line. 85 was occupying that line. 10 car caught him at a really wrong time. 26 now back up to the back bumper of the 10 of John Abbott for the lead position. Jose Gonzalez looking for another win this season. John Abbott looking to tally his first of the year. and they continue to make some time. On Marinak, it's 1.3 seconds back to that third place position. The battle is 4-4, side by side for the 38 and 4. CJ Levere headed at the stripe, Justin Boston fighting back on the outside line. Lap car on the outside line. They'll go 3 wide on the inside of the 85 car. 67 has also found a little bit more as well, as he was on the back bumper of that battle before the lap car. But the CJ Levere number 4, he's back up to 4th.
4 car's coming. I think if we see another caution, 4 car might be the car to beat the way he's coming. I mean, he's setting down some really nice lap times, matching that of the leaders currently. You know, if not, you know, just about the same. I think he actually had to pass somebody last time by and was able to hit, you know, a 23.9 on average the last few laps. I do want to say he's been running generally 23 7s, 8s, 9s even occasionally. So he's really setting down some really nice lap times. Again, was fastest in practice, qualified on the pole. The 4 car, you really got to keep your eye on him here.
Last time by 23.83 for CJ Levere. Your leader was at a 23.92. So a tenth or so faster each lap. He's got 3 seconds to make up. He's got 30 laps to do it if this thing stays green. As the 26 goes to the outside now on the number 10 of Abbott. Nothing doing there. He'll have to fall back in behind as they put Coons 1 lap down. 26 car, though. Looks like he wants to lead a little bit of this thing, Dakota.
Here's another thing we haven't looked at. These guys, the 10 and the 26 have not pitted. We're on lap 70 of 100. 30 laps to go. We haven't had a caution in quite a while.
We'll have to see if these guys can make it the rest of the way on the fuel. This race was shaping up to having a few cautions in this event, but we've been green for a long while now. 30 laps to go, and look who they're coming up to lap right now. It's the 21 car of Matt Lacrosse. He will fall 2 laps down. So for a night that we thought Lacrosse was going to gain a lot in the standings, he's going to lose a bunch, with Marinak running just behind them in position number 3. 26 car gets close to the bumper of the 10.
He does that every once in a while. 26 is all over the 10 car, maybe trying to pressure him here. If the 10 car can make a mistake, that's the 26 hole to really, you know, jump in there and take the position away, steal the position. So if he can pressure the 10 car just enough here, that 10 will make the mistake, I do believe.
And the 26 car, I think he's seeing the same thing we are. That 24 getting bigger in the picture. Marinak is coming. The 26 car needs to go. And you look at the 4 car as well, 2.3 seconds back is the number 4 of CJ Levere. He is coming as well. So if you're John Abbott, you're trying to protect that lead position. If you're the 26, you see those guys getting bigger in the rear view. You got to go. Can he do it this time by? Down the back straightaway, 26. Looking for the line on the inside. He goes to the inside line. Can he hold it down there? 10 car giving him room to do so. He's not going to get the pass done off 4. 74 complete.
Turns 3 and 4. That's never where you want the inside lane to make it a pass. If you can get to the outside lane, if you're the lead car, you have the outside lane, you can defend that position really well. We can see the 10 car actually held the position using the outside lane the whole corner. He didn't force the 26 down, gave plenty of room. And that's what I like about this racetrack. It's really interesting, and it makes it, you know, somewhat hard to pass, but there's a unique set of lines you can run, as 26 car had electrical problems there. 1 car on the outside, that's Clint Monahan going a lap down, as Gonzalez on the bumper of the 10 car. They now slide up in front of the 1. Stefan Marinak has fallen back over a second behind these guys, and CJ Levere 2.1 seconds behind the leaders.
I think we're going to have a race on our hands here, especially if this thing stays green, because everybody is going to come together here in these final few laps. At least your top 4 seem to be running almost identical laps. Looks like John Abbott, out of the top 4 here, Dakota, might be the slowest driver out of the 4, but he's got that track position up in front. He's got that lead position. He's got to make those other guys make that move around him for the lead position. The 43 back there of Doug Roth also battling with the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr. On the outside, 43 on the inside, and they nearly had a moment in the middle of 3 and 4.
And nearly doesn't cover that. That was close there. The 71 on the outside lane right now as 43 falls back in line. He's going to shoot back to the inside if he can. Behind him, 7 car Bobby Terrell, Terrell, in the 32 of Rich Jet working his outside lane. Looks like 32 actually making up quite a bit of run. Here comes the 43 to the outside. Outside lane is prevailing. It does look like down the front straightaway. Going to be side by side. Hey, turn number 1, 2 rows deep. Outside lane going to prevail coming off the corner. As you see, the 43 makes up a lot of time off, and so does the 32.
Those guys that were hoping for a caution, that bomb seems to be ticking right now at about 7th and 8th place as the 71 car in the middle groove. 32, a Jet gets the run off corner number 4. He'll put it to the outside of the 71. A Keith Brooks Jr. into corner number 1. We'll see if the 32 can make that spot up. 71 drifts up the racetrack. 32 might have enough to make the move here. Yes, he does. 32 moves up the spot to position number 8, and now Bobby Terrell on the inside of the 71. Keith Brooks Jr. going to lose 3 positions here in a matter of about 3 or 4 laps as the 71 tries to defend on Bobby Terrell for position number 9.
Update for you, CJ LeVere fans, 1.4 seconds back. He was 3 seconds back just, laps ago. 1.4 now, and he is on the bumper of the 24 closing in.
Final few laps here ticking down. 20 laps remaining. 19 now laps remaining as Terrell trying to pick up the spot on the number 71 car for position at number 9. Great battle there. Looks like Terrell will pick up the spot. Your top 4, though, getting a little bit closer, and Dakota, the battle is about to be for 3rd. 24 and 4, CJ LeVere and Stefan Marinek as they go at it. If you're CJ LeVere, you're running out of time. You got to get there. 1 car spins on the front straightaway. This is going to bring out the caution. It's going to tighten everybody back up.
With less than 20 to go. And I'm looking at this, the 1 car does get going. Doesn't look like a whole lot of damage possibly. We'll check this out. Yeah, all by himself off the turn number 4, lap 81, position number 22. You see the 1 car actually currently was running, I do believe, a lap down, just spins it. And that almost looks like he maybe shifted down accidentally and maybe spun the tires or something right there. But 1 car does get spun around, gets going again, and no damage to that machine there from that incident.
Okay, Dakota, if you're John Abbott or anybody out in front, you've had a long green flag run. Do you pit or do you stay out? And if you're in the back, do you stay out and try to win this thing?
Here's what you got to look at. I think CJ LeVere had much fresher tires than he was catching those guys in a hurry. Even he's not going to want to stay out here. These guys have got well over probably 50 laps on their tires. Some of these guys 83. As a 24 stays out, 4 stays out, 10 car. Gonna pit, I do believe that's Abbott and Gonzalez right on his bumper. Here we're gonna come down at Evan Pasoko. What's happening with the strategy here?
Well, the number 4 car of CJ LeVere, who was gaining on the radio, we heard his crew chief, he said, follow the car in front of you, and at the last second, that 24 jumped out, so the 4 went with him. However, the leader's the 10 of John Abbott. He's down on pit road right now. He has not been down all race, I do believe, so he's coming down in his pit stop, putting 4 tires, topping that thing off with fuel, so this may come down to a pit race here to gain as many positions as possible. 26 wins it out with, I believe, a 2-tire stop, and the 10's going to follow him out second.
Trying to count these drivers that stayed out that were on the lead lap. I think I counted 4. We'll see how this all cycles out in just a few moments' time. We're going to step away, and we'll bring you back to the finish of this one. Don't go away.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, getting everybody in the right position for this restart. Had a couple of drivers stayed out, and Dakota, we were debating under the commercial there, Wyatt Wolf stays out on the racetrack. He's 2 laps down, check that, 3 laps down. He's going to find his spot in line here, as he was the only driver laps down to stay out. So he'll be, I guess, 23rd place in line when we go back to green, unless he does decide to come down pit road here. He is on the apron, but nevertheless, 22 drivers are on the lead lap. Frank Coons is your free pass recipient on that caution. So here's where we sit. Top 4 stayed out in the racetrack. They did not come down pit road on that caution. Marinek, Lavere, Harvey, Wyatt, and then you have Gonzalez in position number 5, John Abbott in 6th. They were the 2 drivers battling for the lead on that long green flag run. Do they have enough, and do we get enough caution laps, or check that, green flag laps, to get up there and win this thing?
Honestly, we saw about what was it, about 30 laps of repeated, it seemed like, cautions, and then we just saw about a 50 lap green flag run, something of the sort. I don't know what to expect here. It's going to be interesting as we get set to go back green flag racing. We're double file here. Pacer is going to dive off of turn number 4. We're now in 3.
If I'm the 26 car, or if I'm the 10 car, you would have to think possibly making it 3 wide on this restart and try to make some sort of bonsai move into 1 might be the best way to do it, because we might have another caution or 2 before this is done. Marinek is gone. Green flag flies. Look at the 26 car. Keep your eye on Gonzalez to the inside. 3 wide for position number 2, and Gonzalez is going to try to take this thing here. Oh, it's getting tight into 1. They're 3 wide behind them. It doesn't work out for Wyatt. Wyatt falls back, and we're still 3 wide off 2.
And Abbott's not giving up. He's throwing the car in there, keeping it in there. 43 going to be on the inside of Abbott. And here comes the takeaway. Going to be 4 wide for a moment. Rich Jet, White Wolf, and we're wrecking. Bobby Terrell, Douglas White barely misses it. Under caution again.
I thought for a second that was going to work, Dakota, but Terrell goes for a wild ride, and where he sits right now in points after the momentum that he had, that's the last thing that he needed. It might be easier to say who wasn't involved from about 7th on back, but we mentioned it. We might see a 3 wide move off the start, and we saw it from Jose Gonzalez. He will be in 2nd on this restart and what could be the final restart of the evening.
It caused the wreck. It's going to be the 32. Going 4 wide is going to be actually making contact with the 63 car. This is the 63 if I do believe. Wyatt Wolf Jr. and that spins Wolf Jr. around, and then 32 actually comes down and collects a 7.
We're going to look at this restart here, and you're going to see the 26 go to the inside. You're going to see John Abbott try to make a move, and that's the worst thing about John starting on that outside line in position number 6. Your hands are really tied. You can go to the outside, but the outside 1 and 2 definitely not the place to be, at least in that 3rd groove on the outside line. And then he gets stuck in the middle, and he ends up in position number 7. He's going to be on the inside for this restart, which is probably a good thing for him. He's going to be able to jump to the inside if he wants to here on this final, what could be final restart. We have 92 being shown on the board. We have 9 laps to go here. We're going to have at least 1 more restart to this thing. So John Abbott still might be able to get a top 5 finish out of this, but it's tough. Your hands are kind of tied back there, Dakota.
And I'll tell you what, CJ Lavere now, when we restart, he'll be on the inside lane, right on the bumper of the 24. I don't think that's where you want that driver. You really don't want that 4 car there, I don't think. 26 is going to be on the outside of the 24. That's Jose Gonzalez. Remember, he is on fresh tires. Boston going to restart 4th. With Doug Roth 5th, Brian Harvey 6th, and again, John Abbott, we were just talking about 7th. Abbott does have fresh tires, but so do a lot of cars around him. Still a few cars in front of him that are still on those old tires, so it's definitely going to be interesting. And I know Evan Pasocco had just said he had an updated list on everybody that was out. I know that list just grew just a little bit here, Evan.
Yeah, it's definitely been a busy night on pit road for repairs, but it's been equally as busy in the garage. A tough race for many drivers. Wyatt Wolf Jr. is done. Wyatt Wolf, he's also pulled out the number 27 car of J. Randall Watkins. He had a solo spin, stayed out. He rode the wall for 6 laps and called it a night. We have about 12 drivers: Brandon King, Mark Bratcher, John Ehlers, Augusto Gabdolny, So we have a bunch of drivers who have called it a race. So lots of tough nights, but those drivers that are out there are going to be in the hunt for the victory.
And when you look at those guys up in front, you really have to look at that number 26 car. Question is, he's got fresh tires. 24 is going to have command of the restart. He starts the restart for this race to what could be the finish. We go 2 laps, Dakota, I think we're done. When we look at caution flags, can Gonzalez time this right, keep up with Marinak, and possibly use that outside line with those fresh tires to take away this win?
Honestly, it's going to depend on how long we get green flag racing. If we can go to the end here, if the 26 can get the restart, remember the 4 car in the last restart was caught sleeping. That's something the 26 has to watch out for. If the 26 can use the outside lane, if he can get around, if he can set himself up to make the pass, a lot of ifs. The 26, if you do remember, rode in second for a long time throughout this race. He was right on the bumper of John Abbott. Never could get underneath him, and when he did, he could not complete the pass. So who's to say he can complete the pass now? He will be on a lot fresher tires, do remember that, but it will be still, rather difficult for him if he cannot get himself set up in the right position. And Iowa can be unique in the sense that the outside lane can be used, basically to slow down the inside lane. It's really intriguing and something you'd have to watch for closely.
It looks like the 7 car of Bobby Terrell, that's definitely pointed in the wrong direction, but keep in mind, well, I'm looking at this scoring monitor, he's battling the 32, and he's going to hope for some drivers, Dakota, to wreck in front of him and wreck early on this restart. 7 car going to come on to pit road as long as the rear end doesn't hit the barrels. That was close. 7 car definitely tracking the wrong way. I'm sure he has a meatball. He'll have to come in and fix some of that, but I think he was hoping to stay out on the racetrack, maybe 1 lap down and try to get a top 20 finish, but I don't think it's going to happen. Lights atop the first racing Ford Mustang pace car are off. We will go green with 5 laps remaining. I'm going to branch out and say that if we get a caution flag after we go green, it's probably going to end this thing.
Tim, is there a dirt track on the infield or something? I think that's where the 7 was heading, couldn't find it.
I think there's a road course or a Legends Oval down there. They might be able to rip some of that up.
Huh, well here we go, we're getting 3 and 4, pace car just about to dive.
Who is going to win this thing? Could it be Marinak, your point leader? Gonzalez tried to take that lead earlier from Abbott. Green flag flies, 24 is gone, 26. He changed lanes before the start-finish line. We'll have to see if that rule is enforced there. The 4 on the back bumper of the 26 and the 38 of Boston fighting on the outside.
They just got to pray for a caution. Here's the 26 coming with a huge run. He's trying to run down the 24, 4 falling off the 38. 38 falling off the 26. 26 car looking really, really strong. 24 car holding on to the lead, though, as we come across the line for lap 97. A caution now will end the race.
3 wide behind them. Abbott takes 5th, and they're spinning behind. This will end the race at 65. Of Josh Cheney in the wall. Oh, Jimmy North, big hit on that number 65. He is up and over in the 65, and speaking about up and over, this thing is up and over. It's going to be the 24 car if he can keep it under power for the last 3 laps, winning this race and his 4th of the season.
65 up at Spoke now as yeah, it looks like we were 3 wide up, a little ways up there. Big check up. 12 car goes back on the outside wall. He was stuck on the wall, actually. 92 just comes up. The Terry Lane machine just comes up and collects the 65 of Josh Cheney, and then 84 Jimmy North. 62 kind of falls in line back there, but Josh Cheney really get the worst end of that. He's going to have smoke pouring out of his machine. Bobby Terrell just barely missing him in his dirt car, we're going to call it.
And it looks like he will finish in 21st unless something changes here as Boston comes up and tries to maybe lay a donut on that number 24 car. Looks like Terry Lane will be going for the rear of that one, and Bobby Terrell will get the free pass on this caution flag. So he might get a top 20 after all from this one, Dakota, as he will get the free pass on this caution flag. But looks like unofficially right now, Marinak is going to win this one. He's got a lap and a half or a lap and 3/4 to finish. Gonzalez unofficially in position number 2. Boston in position number 3. Lavere and Abbott, your top 5, as they go down the back straightaway here for the penultimate time this evening. And Dakota, we're going to have to get that rule clarified because we saw that rule there last week. Between the lane changing, It looked to me, if it's before the start-finish line, then Gonzalez may have maybe bent that rule a little bit, but we'll have to get that clarified from the race officials. But nevertheless, Marinak, Gonzalez, Boston, your podium, and they've got one lap to get back around here.
I want to say it could be, I want to say, or they'll hold me to this, but I think it might be the green flag. When the green flag drops, kind of hard to tell that. I think start-finish line will be easier for race officials, but just came across the line to collect lap 100. Just got to go around here one more time.
One more lap to finish this race, as it looks like there was a little bit of rubbing going on there between the 24 and the 26, but Gonzalez, he was trying everything that he could to keep the 26 at least in position number 2 and possibly gain one more spot on the scoring pylon, as Marinak will be your winner. He'll win his 4th race of the season, and Dakota, more importantly, he'll gain back the point lead because Eric Brundys wasn't here. He had 37 points on Matt Lacrosse coming in. Matt Lacrosse finished laps down this evening. CJ Levere finished in 4th. We might have a new eventual 3rd place point man out of this night. Checkers are in the wind, and Stefan Marinak will go to victory lane in the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. For the 4th time this season, he wins the Iowa 100. Gonzalez, Boston, your top 3.
I'll tell you what, we were talking about the door rubbing. I believe they are teammates. Nothing, nothing big. I believe it was just, a victory nudge there. But I'll tell you what, Tim Terrell, we got him on the radio. We got the race winner, the points leader, Stefan Marinak.
We'll talk to your winner, 4th win of the season, Mr. Marinak. Congratulations.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it.
You started up front. We talked about this on the first caution. The 24 car comes down pit road, and we're thinking, what's going on here with this strategy? Seemed to work out in the end, though.
Yeah, I had to change my my steering ratio. I started out at like 14 at the beginning of the race, and I couldn't really control it, so I came down in the pits and changed it to 12, and it worked out. It felt really good.
We had a long green flag run there. It looked like you were keeping pace with those top 2 that were battling for the lead. You had CJ Levere closing up. What was going through your mind when you heard the caution flag was out there with about 15 to go?
Yeah, I was pretty sure I couldn't beat those 2 in front of me. I was losing probably a 10th every 5 laps or so. So I just, when they pitted, that was pretty much my chance to beat them. And then CJ, Brian, and Doug stayed out, so that helped me a little bit to keep them behind me.
And it continues to be a winning season here for this race team. 4th win of the year through 12 races. You've got a quarter of the races in your back pocket for victories. How big is that in a series that has so much competition like this?
It's awesome. A lot of it's been luck, though. Like tonight, we just played the strategy right. Atlanta, we beat the fast guy on a pit stop. Daytona, we pulled out front right as the wreck happened. So, I mean, it's been nice to have a lot of luck, but, 4 wins is 4 wins. We'll take them.
Next week, we head to Charlotte. Can we get one more win there and make it 5?
Yeah, I think so.
Seems fairly confident. Before we let you go, sponsors on the car, teammates, who makes it happen for you?
Axo Sanitary for sponsoring me in the Full Throttle Cup Series, Hibby's Paint Shop, RSR, Inside Sim Racing, ETV, and Derek Spear Designs.
There's your winner, your point leader, 4th of the season for Stefan Marinak. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time. We'll bring you back with the rest of the podium finishers here on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007. With
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to the Iowa Speedway, the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs post-race show. We're going to go down with Dakota, who is caught up with our second place finisher, who's currently losing the Legends race. Bump and run for Jose Gonzalez.
Yeah, they're racing on a little Legends level here. Jose Gonzalez, teammate to Stefan Marinak. Jose Gonzalez, interesting race for you, up and down. You ran second a lot of the race. You really had the tires at the end, just weren't able to get the position.
Yeah, I was very patient today for the whole race. I was just riding there with John behind John, and when I took 4 tires, I thought I had it in the bag, but those 2 cautions didn't give me enough time to get by Stefan. So I gotta congratulate Stefan for stealing this win.
Jose Gonzalez, I knew you said before the race, I've got to work on qualifying. You qualified 16th. What's up with you and climbing to the field? I mean, do you like it that much?
No, I don't like it. I gotta learn how to qualify, man. I just suck at it. In the Mondays and Thursdays, I just, I'm good on the long run, but if I could qualify up front better, I didn't have to get into much troubles and wrecks, but I'm happy with second, and I'm happy that a teammate got the win, so we're good. And CJ got 4th, so we're good as team points there.
All right, now Jose Gonzalez, and then we come up with a few more races throughout the season. I believe we're at Charlotte next week that are similar to tracks we've run, and tracks that you seem to perform well at. Can you get some more wins, top 5s? I mean, what are you aiming for the next few weeks? Just wins?
Yeah, I wanted today to this win today because I want to get up in the win column, but as long as I don't get wrecked, there's a couple of guys here that need to get their attention because of the wreck fest lately. But if I can keep it clean, I'm gonna be happy.
All right, Jose. Well, here's your chance to write any shout outs you may have.
Oh, you know what? Hippie's Paint Shop and Axel Sanitary. They're both our sponsors for this year, for me and Stefan, and we're very honored to have them as the sponsors for our cars.
Well, there you have from Jose Gonzalez, your second place finisher here tonight. Now we throw it down to, I do believe, Evan Pasoko with your third place finisher.
And we are down here on pit road with the number 38 of Justin Boston. And Justin, you were 6th in practice, 5th in qualifying, 3rd in the race. You managed to get that top 3. How was the race going from behind the wheel there at the beginning when it seemed like you guys couldn't get a green flag run going? What was going through your mind?
put back, and we had to come up through the field, and I thought we were going to be in trouble. And thankfully, I missed some wrecks. And it was definitely an interesting race for us. And I like running this series. It's a lot of fun. Mark put me in with Mark Ratchet, and having a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully, we can get a couple wins. I don't know if I'm going to run any more for him or what have you, but I'm enjoying it, and it was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we get a little bit better shot to win there. We had 4 tires, and I was hoping to get a green flag run going, at least those last couple laps, and see what we had to get that win, but it just didn't pan out for us, and we got all we could get.
And definitely a good run for you guys. And you mentioned there at the end with the pit stops again. Do you think you would have gone better if that caution did not come out with 10 to go? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was hoping to get tires because, I was hoping everybody would pit, but with all the cautions we had, it was a smart call to stay out, and that's what won the race. I was just trying to get all I could get. We had a little bit of damage from a wreck we got caught up in. I was just trying to get the best car I had to try and get a win.
And any sponsors or people that helped you get here you want to thank?
Oh yeah. Obviously, Zaloop Computer Electronic Recycling Centers is in the hood of my car throughout this whole year. Rock and Roll Tequila, Focus Eyewear. You guys up in the booth putting together good shows for us and giving us a good place to race.
And that was a number 38 of Justin Boston taking home a top 3 finish tonight at Iowa.
Great show put on by these drivers here. And Dakota, final thoughts before we head out? We're heading to Charlotte next week. A little bit different than this Iowa racetrack.
It definitely is different. I think we still see a little bit of multi-grid racing, and I say multi-grid racing with a different definition than what I should, but it's going to be interesting. Either way, I can't wait. These cars are going to be a lot of fun, and it always is good racing with Real Sim Racing. Asphalt Assault Series sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs.
And the main question will be, can your point leader get 5 races under his belt to start off this season in the win column? We'll see what Marinik can do next week. Congratulations to your winner and all the drivers here. Great race at Iowa. That's going to do it for us here this evening on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. So for Evan Pasoko, Dakota Ehrman, JD, Laura, my name is Tim Terry, saying we'll see you in 1 week time when we say, let's go racing from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.